at Tannadice, where it's Dundee United against Celtic. It's full live commentary, and it's Ian McCall, Pat Bonner and Liam McLeod.
The first meeting between these two in almost 2 years since Celtic won 2-0 thanks to goals from Jota and a Moy penalty right here at Tannadice. That game came just 4 months after Celtic had recorded the biggest away win in the club's history here, with Kyogo and Abada scoring hat-tricks. Jota, Juranovic and Starfelt grabbed the others in the rout, which cost Jack Ross the Tannadice manager's job after just 7 games in charge. It is a tall order for Dundee United. Perhaps their eyes lit up a bit given Celtic have been shorn of many of their first choice picks. Still a very strong Celtic team though. A team that's unbeaten in their last 15 since losing to Dortmund in Germany. And they've only lost 1 of their 24 games so far this season. It was that one in the Westfalen in the Champions League. And as Richard mentioned, their league record since losing to Hearts in March: played 24, won 22, drawn 2. Rangers with a 3-3 and Aberdeen with a 2-2. The only time Celtic have not won a league game since that defeat at Tynecastle when they were down to 10 men. Celtic players breaking away from their huddles, a bit of smoke coming from some pyrotechnics. Off to our left, the Celtic supporters occupying the main Jerry Kerr fair play stand all the way round into the shed end, which they will defend in this first half against Dundee United, who will be attacking that way. Celtic shooting towards the Eddie Thompson stand down the hill here. United in the tangerine shirts, black shorts, tangerine socks. Celtic in their green and white hoops. Brendan Rodgers' first trip to the stadium as United kick off. It's a long ball forward which Liam Scales heads away. I think he scored his first Celtic goal here early in his career at the club before he had the loan at Aberdeen. He's back in the team along with Stephen Welsh, who starts in the league for the first time this campaign. His only other start came against Falkirk in the League Cup as it's played short. Schmeichel to Welsh, getting a feel of the ball, and he squares it to Scales, who goes back to the keeper. So it's Walton in goal for United. If you missed the team news earlier, Strain, Gallagher, Holt, Ferry, Thompson, Seville, Stevenson, with Fotheringham and Middleton wide of Dalby. Celtic with Schmeichel in goal, Ralston, Welsh, Scales and Taylor, McCowan, McGregor, Hatate, Yang, Maida, Kyogo. United have the ball deep inside their own half. It's just moved in field there by Strain, and a long ball forward by Declan Gallagher. Now it's Welsh, dug out by McCowan, who rolls it back to Anthony Ralston, who had that loan spell here earlier in his career. Now it's with Greg Taylor, long ball looking for Maida. It's cut out by Strain, breaks to the edge of the box for McCowan before it's knocked away from him by Stevenson, out for a throw into Celtic, level with the Dundee United penalty spot. And as ever, when you're up against the champions, these early exchanges are going to be so crucial to try and bed yourself into the game and try and dig something out against the odds. And that's United's challenge right here as Hatate turns it back to McGregor. Packy Celtic, they've had a week celebrating the latest bit of silverware arriving at the club in the shape of the League Cup. What are you expecting from them today?
Yeah, well, I think they've had a decent week this year. Normally they're playing 2 games a week. He gave them a couple of days off, didn't he? So you would expect their energy levels to be up. And they've had their rest, and their confidence is really high. Obviously, when you win a cup this early in the season, it's always nice. You get beat, it's a completely different story. You've got to pick yourselves up, but he doesn't have to do that with the players. So they'll be high in confidence, just bedding them in and getting the rhythm going with the new players coming into the team. That's always maybe the little risk that you have.
Taylor for Celtic, rolling it out to the left-hand side for Maida. Just bobbles away from him and out for a throw-in on the far side. Ian, would imagine managing in games like this, you're just so keen that you don't lose that early goal and make sure that you're in the fight.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, when I was here, I managed against Martin O'Neill's team, and that was not easy because of the land of the Giants. But it's interesting that Dundee United, when Celtic try to take the ball at the back, they're almost 4-2-4, so they are trying to get high and try and press the game and try and, harry Celtic into mistakes. Whether they're able to do that, I don't know.
We shall find out. Really decent conditions for the game despite a slight breeze. It's not the gale force winds I think the west of the country's been experiencing. The sun is out, it is bitterly cold. The pitch looks great though as it's played back to Gallagher and it's rolled to Holt. who turns it out to Will Ferry on this near side. 3 goalless minutes in. Long ball for United down the left, headed away by Ralston. Little nodded header infield by Sam Dolby, who's the player of the month for November, as Hatate goes down and his legs whipped from him. That's going to be a free kick to Celtic midway inside their own half. They're looking to restore an 11-point lead at the top of the table from Rangers, who are now in second spot. Scales slips it to Welsh. Rangers 1-0 winners over Dundee yesterday. Of course, Aberdeen losing at home to Hibs, which saw Philippe Clement take his side into the top 2 for the first time this season. As Hatate knocks it forward to Kyogo, goes down, no free kick. Declan Gallagher clears, and it's out for a throw-in on this near side for Celtic. Jim Goodwin just throwing the ball away from Anthony Ralston before he could get it, but the Celtic fullback enjoying a rare start with Alistair Johnston out with that hip problem. Finds Welsh, and now it's with McGregor, who rolls it back to Welsh. Callum McGregor lifting the League Cup last week for the 8th time. He's been at the beating heart of this unprecedented period of success for Celtic across all fronts. As Ralston turns it to the left there for Liam Scales. Scales with the low ball with the left foot out to Maida, level with the edge of the D of the United box, plays it to the underlapping Hatate, who crosses in, headed away by Gallagher before Strain completes the clearance.
Yeah, it was really interesting last week after the game when Brendan Rodgers was talking about Liam Scales, about how he here's a chance.
Hold on, yeah. Hatate, edge of the box, gets away from his man after the back heel from McCowan, headed back to the goalkeeper by Strain. I think many people thought he was taking a little bit of a chance there, but Jack Walton read it. It's a fine goalkeeper, and he was across Ryan Strain's intentions, and it's in the gloves of Walton, and it's nothing each.
Yeah, I was just saying about Liam Scales and how he put him into the team at half-time because he felt that he was better linking the game across the back and moving the ball a little bit quicker, and that gives a lot of confidence to the likes of Liam Scales. I'm sure I listened to that afterwards. The manager like Brendan Rodgers is thinking that he's probably in the team better by doing that instead of trusting.
Yeah, he clearly thinks he's a better user of the ball, better passer of the ball.
Well, maybe a quicker ball. I mean, as long as he does things simple, and I think that's what he's probably done. He did that really well at the start of his career coming into Celtic. That's why he stayed in the team.
Ralston has it for Celtic on this near side. He likes to go all the way back to Schmeichel. Ian, as a manager, do your eyes light up when you see Celtic coming here and they're still strong, but it's not their first choice 11?
Well, I don't know about light up, but I mean, I would be a bit stronger with the pack he made at the start. I mean, I think if Celtic replace midfield players or forwards, the quality I think is just the same. But you know, and I'm a big Ralston fan, but Ralston and Welsh compared to Alistair Johnston and Carter Vickers, for me, is quite a big drop off in quality.
McCowan just playing it back into the centre circle for Scales, forward towards McCowan. The challenge was in from Stevenson, but it's going to break Rio Hatate's way. Now McGregor. United just trying to get through these early stages here unscathed. Hatate plays it into McGregor. Square ball to Hatate to his right. Hatate at walking pace, looks to see what's ahead of him, plays it short to his right for Ralston. Now McGregor back to Welsh, just at the edge of the centre circle, finds Taylor, who as usual pops up in central midfield, as he loves to do. And as Welsh forward to Taylor again, just trying to hold off Sevelj, and he plays it back to Welsh, who finds McGregor. Out to this near side for Yang, as he kept it in play. Jim Goodwin doesn't think so, but the assistant on this near side, Callum Spence, was happy with that, but it's played all the way back to Welsh and then to Schmeichel at the edge of his box. He's still only conceded 4 league goals, Kasper Schmeichel. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's good, really good stats, I've got to say. That's an unforced error there from Scales, which we haven't seen too often. Yeah, on our Celtic, you know, they've started this game again. Lots of control of the ball, moving the ball after 1-2 touch, and just forcing Dundee to kind of almost pushing them back into their own half.
4 league goals in 15 games.
It's
coming into
incredible.
this one.
It's incredible. I mean, obviously the defence takes credit for that as well, but I think he is a goalkeeper. Pack, you'll know more about this than me, that does make big saves in big games, as he's proved in the cup final for the penalty.
Yeah, and you know, that was always the question: could he match Joe Hart in making the big saves coming into this team? And he has done that, and he's got all that experience. But definitely, I think he's better with the ball with his feet too. Yeah.
Chance for Ralston, right hand side of the United box. Really good strong challenge there by the Croatian Sevelj, but it is at the expense of Celtic's first corner of the afternoon, which Yang, I think, is going to leave to Luke McCowan, who was a goal scorer here in Dundee colours at the start of the campaign. Match day 1, scored a penalty at the Shed End. And he's taken the corner short to Yang, level with the penalty spot. Back to McGregor, out to McCowan, takes a touch with the left foot, bends it in. It's a good ball as well, headed away by United through Kevin Holt. They're out for a throw into Celtic over on the other side. The Celtic left as they attack the Eddie Thompson stand end of the stadium. We are watching up high at the back of the main stand in the gantry here as McCowan plays it out to Yang. McCowan on the underlap. Yang still has it, runs into trouble. 2 United players around him, finds McCowan, whose cross is cut out by Ferry and out for a throw into Celtic on this near side. He's getting the boos from the United supporters as Luke McCowan, he was the skipper over the road at Dens, as McGregor clips the ball into the box. Maida's little touch and Walton holds on. If he gets more purchase on that, Daisen Maida, Celtic could have been looking at the lead there. It remains United 0, Celtic 0.
It was that run that we've come to expect from Maeda, getting in sort of almost past the fullback, and Ryan Strain had to be really clued in, but he just failed to get a contact on the ball. It was a lovely little ball from McGregor in over the top, and just I think he just didn't quite make sufficient contact on the ball.
A touch by Miller-Thompson goes awry. Celtic have it, scales through Maida, lovely flick into Hatate in the box, and he shoots just wide. Low effort with the left foot. He was looking for the bottom right, and it just goes past the right hand post, the goalkeeper's left, and on 10 minutes it remains nothing each.
I think if he sees Kyogo at the back post, he cuts it back a little bit more, and Kyogo's got tapping. But again, Liam, it's just like Dundee United are trying to press with 4 players up the pitch, but because of how Celtic are controlling the game, it makes it look like Dundee United are being ultra defensive. They're not, they're just getting pushed back.
Chances for Maida and Hatate in the last minute, so Celtic trying to get to the point where they prize United out and open on a regular basis as Welsh picks up inside the centre circle. Under pressure from Thompson, who brings him down. The United Academy graduate, and it's going to be a free kick to Celtic just left of the centre circle. Welsh is taking a sore one there. He's taking a little while to get back to his feet. And there will be a free kick to be taken here, I think, by McGregor. Just squares it to Ralston, and he's got an angle made for him by McCowan on this near side. He's looked the part, Luke McCowan, since going to Celtic. You know, maybe people thought when he went in there he would be a bit part player. He hasn't always been in from the start, but when we've seen him in the green and white hoops, Ian, he's settled into life there brilliantly.
Yeah, listen, one of my regrets is not giving Luke McCowan his debut earlier than I did, because as soon as he went in the team, he looked as if he'd been there for years. He's just terrific ability, and you know what, he won't, he's not the type to, he's very hard on himself, but he's not the type to cause a ruck if he's not in the team. But he won't be happy not being in the team. He'll desperate to be a Celtic starter.
Ian's Ayr United team was a joy to watch at times, and Ross Docherty obviously was part of that, and he's on the bench, the United club captain Lawrence Shankland, and many others. Alan Forrest, as United come down this left hand side. It's Will Ferry dinking it forward, looking for Middleton. Scales will just chaperone it back to Schmeichel though, who boots the ball clear into the United half, where Holt's header is met by McCowan, who knocks it forward. It's cut out by Stevenson. Ralston will let it go out for the throw on this near side.
You mentioned all those players, Liam, and it just seems if United had a decent manager, then they might have done something.
You were close. It's a bit of a roller coaster, to be fair, at Somerset in those days.
Yeah. To be fair, Luke McCowan, he fits into the way Celtic play. That's the key, you know what I mean? And he moves around, gets on the ball, finds space. Technically very, very good too. And he digs in a little bit too, doesn't he? He's all the strengths.
I'll relish this. He will relish coming to Tannadice today, getting his start. Celtic long ball goes out for a throw-in off Strain, and it's a throw-in level with the penalty spot over on the George Fox side of Tannadice. The Celtic left over there, and it's bowled down towards the corner flag for Hatate. Digs it back out to Taylor as cross is cut out, and there will be a throw-in again to Celtic, which Taylor takes quickly. Now it's Hatate. Goes back to Scales. Infield for Hatate. He's looking to see what's ahead of him. Plays it short to McCowan, who goes back to Scales, who moves it into the centre circle for Welsh. And now McGregor. Everyone apart from Kasper Schmeichel's in the United half right now. It is wave after wave of attack. Jack Walton hasn't had too much to do so far, but we are just 13 minutes into it.
Yeah, I did say, listen, there's different ways of try to play against Celtic, and obviously with Dundee United they're pushed back, but they have to be well organised.
That's into the box. There's cut out, really important. Cut out by Holt as well. Taylor picks up the scraps and rolls it to the left angle of the box for Hatate, just holding off Fotheringham. Eventually it comes back to Welsh, midway inside United territory. Finds McCowan, back to Welsh, squares it to his left for McGregor. Forward to Maida. Then back to Scales. Scales to Welsh. And then out to the right-hand side for Yang, who'll be very keen to make an impression today. Hasn't exactly set the place on fire since arriving at the club, the South Korean. Middleton's in trouble down here. He's battling trying to win it back. He's done well. And he's got the pass from Ferry, and he's going to launch it forward, but cut out by Welsh, just as it was looking like it might come through to Miller-Thompson, who's playing in that kind of number 10 role today. And it remains United 0, Celtic 0 on 14 and a half.
Yeah, I think Miller-Thompson's getting really bogged down with trying to look after Callum McGregor. Not an easy task. Yeah, needs to try and be, it's really, really hard for him, try and be a little bit more positive.
United playing out from the back. Ball catches in the wind, which does seem to have picked up a little bit since kick-off. Dalby can't control in the box, but Scales committed himself, and Thompson's nicked it off him. Now he's driving forward, Fotheringham to his right. And Dalby to his left, rolls it back to Strain on the right. This cross is cut out, and it's Stephen Welsh trying to stab it clear. He's found McGregor, who calmly rolls it away, but he's given it straight to Strain. He was looking for Taylor. Strain has it level with the edge of the D of the Dundee United box. Back out to the Aussies, he's in trouble. Maida pinches it off him. Jim Goodwin down there is very frustrated at that. It's Maida driving down midway inside the United half now. Lays it infield for Hatate. Cut out there by Ferry, really importantly as well. And he knocks it to Fotheringham to the right. It remains Dundee United 0, Celtic 0 here, but that's what can happen. You're up the pitch 1 second, and then you're caught short at the back the other.
Yeah, but he had an opportunity, Ryan Strain, to put the ball into the box, and he didn't. He hesitated, tried to beat this player, and then Maeda took it off him. And he has the big guy, Dalby, and almost lining up for trying to get on the end of a cross, put it in there and test that Celtic defence.
Declan Gallagher with the long ball forward, controlled by Dalby, rolls it out to Fotheringham on the right hand side, just inside the Celtic half, goes back down the line to Strain, then back to Gallagher. Side foot ball out to Strain and back to Gallagher again, then back to the goalkeeper. We did wonder if Jim Goodwin was going to change the shape today, which of the centre backs would drop out. It was Adebayoga. He decided to leave out of the starting 11, going with Gallagher and Holt. As United pick up Dalby, he's done well, fires it in field, it bounces off Thompson though, straight to McGregor, and now McCowan, and then his pass bounces off the referee David Dickinson, but play on because Celtic's still in possession anyway. And now it's with Scales. Just signs in the last few minutes the United have got through those early exchanges without a goal going in against them, and just looking quite comfortable when they have been on the ball.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and you know, they just need to maybe take 3 or 4 passes, you know, without thinking about cutting Celtic open just like that. But I think that Jim's brought out the 2 centre backs because they defend their box really well.
Early ball from Middleton wide in the left into the Celtic box with nobody in Tangerine able to get on the end of it. It comes all the way through to Greg Taylor, who pushes it forward to McGregor, who's now on the turn, moving up towards halfway. McGregor holding off Stevenson and decides to go back to Scales. Jim Goodwin was furious with Ryan Strain, the bit Packy was talking about there, where he delayed the cross and he had it nicked off him by Maida.
But with Dundee United, you know, having a little passage of play there, it becomes even more important for defenders to concentrate, because you saw the space there for the first time on the transition when Ryan Strain made that mistake.
Celtic have it with Stephen Welsh just to the right of the centre circle in the United half, to the left of it for Scales, and to Welsh again. Low ball forward to the right there for McCowan, and the inside channel goes back to Welsh, plays it to Scales, now forward to McCowan. Celtic trying to pick their way through, and McCowan shoots with the left, and it's not that far away, but a foot past the right hand post from McCowan. He picked it up and he drove to the edge of the D, let fly. Walton relieved to see that go past. It remains United 0, Celtic 0 on 18.
I think Luke will be really disappointed he didn't hit the target there. I think that's a decent chance. The wind's going down that way, it's down the slope at Tannadice. He hits the target, you know, I think he's got a real chance of scoring there.
Yeah, but a beautiful piece of play by him, because he's on the ball initially, then he plays off the pass, then he keeps moving into the space, picks it up, and then no hesitation to take on the shot. So really good play.
Remember to come later on Sportsound Big Battle at the bottom of the Premiership as Hearts host St Johnstone, and that's to come at 3 o'clock live on Sportsound. You've got the first leg of the 1872 rugby clash between Glasgow and Edinburgh as well. 2:30 we will split frequencies, 3 o'clock kickoff at Hampden Park as Ralston plays it back to Stephen Welsh, and now it's with Scales. Just outside the centre circle, short ball to Hatate, square to Welsh, forward to McCowan, first time back to Welsh, and then to Scales. Do you wonder what the future looks like for Stephen Welsh?
I think he needs to move. Yeah. He needs to get out and get himself games, because he's a young man still.
There's McGregor at the edge of the area. Oh, he just had it nicked away from him, but the ref's giving the free kick. Sevelj with the challenge. It's inside the D, just outside the United box. He was just in the act of pulling the trigger when the trip came. He stayed in his feet. The ref has given the free kick anyway.
I'll tell you what, I think it was a good free because the space had opened up. McGregor was in a brilliant position to strike at goal. And there was very little between him and the goal, by the way, and he could have just picked the spot. And that little nudge, he lost his balance. And it was definitely a free kick, but I think it was a decent free kick.
Yeah, it was
all that he could do.
The only positive thing I think for Celtic is McGregor was going in his right foot, and now a free kick will get the opportunity with their correct foot.
I would say he's decent on his right foot.
He's not bad.
And from that distance also.
Yeah, I think all his goals have come from outside the box this season, haven't they? He's got six of them. Yeah. He's found his scoring boots again this season. And there's 4 Celtic players around the free kick just now. Scales is one of them. He's going to depart. So that leaves McGregor, Hatate, McCowan. Take your pick. Who fancies it?
Well, they'll all want it.
Yeah. Opportunity knocks perhaps here for Celtic. It's dead centre. Jack Walton stands just off his line. Hatate hits it low, it bounces off the wall, maybe even off his own player. Maida, who was standing in amongst that, and it goes out of play off a United player last out for a throw into Celtic over on the far side. They took the low road, maybe regretting that now.
Yeah, listen, it was a poor free kick, and Luke McCowan stood for about 10 seconds after it, because I think he thought he was taking it.
I'll tell you what, as a goalkeeper, you're desperate for the wall to get a block from that distance, because you just got to pick up one side and hope and pray that the wall does its job, and it did it on that occasion. Stays
0-0 after 21. McGregor rolls it low out to Maida, left hand side of the United box. He's thinking he's getting a corner here, but no. Goal kick, much to the annoyance of the Celtic supporters who are around about us, below the gantry here at Tannadice. And I think the wind definitely has got up since kick-off, and
it's got a bit colder.
It has. It's not, yeah.
Best place is to be on the pitch today, running around, that's for sure.
Jack Walton has a goal kick here, so United have got through the first quarter of the match without conceding. They did go to Ibrox and picked up a point earlier in the campaign. They were beaten narrowly by Rangers here as well. They've only lost 2 games at Tannadice, that was one of them. And I think Motherwell it is, have got the Indian sign over them right now, as that is a cheap corner to concede by Ryan Strain. There was no one behind him, and he's ended up heading it behind.
I think it was an example of the wind there, Liam playing havoc with the ball.
Anyway, Celtic have a corner kick over on the Celtic left. Luke McCowan has gone out to take it. Out-swinging corner flapping beside him. And McCowan waits, a group of players round about the penalty spot. McCowan drives it in towards Welsh. A little effort, the side foot with the left, and it goes well wide. And it stays goalless at Tannadice.
There was an opportunity, but obviously on his left side, he just didn't get any proper connection whatsoever. But you know, maybe if it was came to the likes of Kyogo or somebody of that as a striker, you would probably think it was a really good chance.
United have only lost 3 of their last 11 games. As I mentioned there, 3 of the last 4 defeats have come against Motherwell. Once in the League Cup, twice in the league. The other one was at Pittodrie, which was a very late Aberdeen winner on the night. So by and large they've been enjoying themselves back in the top flight. Best start to a top flight season since Shaki McNamara in 2014.
Yeah, I mean, I covered the home game here against Kilmarnock, and to be honest, Derek changed the formation at half time, and Kilmarnock came more into it, but it was a late goal that a penalty that got caught. Kilmarnock dropped 2 points, I think, dropped for Dundee United that day. They think they deserve to win.
Well, a big percentage of Dundee United's goals this season have come in the final 15 minutes of games. So they go right to the end, and they can build themselves into this. It is still nothing each. They've got every chance of striking late, because that's what they do. Ian talking about the Kilmarnock game, the Hibs game here as well. You'll remember the late red card for Joe Newell, which completely collapsed Hibernian, and United scored twice to win 3-2 in a game that they looked like they were going to lose 2-1. Here's Scales left of the centre circle, rolling it out to Maida. Now he's beyond the midway point. The United half, his pass goes awry, though. He was looking for Hatate instead. United have it with Thompson, but he can't find Middleton. Ferry slides in, wins it back. Now it's with Middleton on this left-hand side, taking on Ralston, driving down the left flank. Dalby's waiting in the middle. It's a low ball across, cut out by Welsh. Breaks back to Middleton, down to the byline, fires it back. It's a good ball. Then picked up by Fotheringham, just couldn't get it out from under his feet. Celtic clear. Stevenson finds Strain wide on the right-hand side. Level with the 18-yard line, and then he slips, falls, uses his hand to prevent the ball getting into the path of Maida. He'll be booked. It will be a yellow card. It's been a little bit inauspicious from Ryan Strain in that area of the pitch.
Well, that's the second time that he's in the exact same position. He's given away possession when, you know, Celtic would look really important on the counter-attack there.
Glenn Middleton was down there having a stretch.
It was terrific play with Middleton. That's what Dundee United needed. He took the ball 40-50 yards and got Dundee United up the pitch. Yeah,
there was a few people here thought Glenn Middleton might drop out of the starting 11 this afternoon as well, but he's in, and he has looked. If they can get the ball to Middleton down this left-hand side, he could be a threat. It was a great ball back. It got plenty of power on it. It was the second attempted ball into the box, the second one, which Fotheringham just couldn't quite get under control. So that's rolled back by Ralston to the edge of his box for his goalkeeper. Schmeichel plays it short to Welsh. 26 on the clock at 0-0. Welsh forward to McCowan. First time back to Ralston. Then right to left of the circle for Scales, to his left for Taylor on the halfway line. Taylor fires it up the line into the feet of Maida. Back to Taylor. Low ball with the left infield to McGregor. Low to the edge of the box for Kyogo. Turns, shoots and puts it just wide. Might even be the first time I've mentioned Kyogo in the game, which is 26.5 minutes old. Picked it up, back to goal, swiveled, and his arching shot aimed for the far corner goes just past, and it stays Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, but it was great play from Celtic from the back, splitting, you know, that penetrating pass, taking sort of 3 or 4 players out of it, and then suddenly Celtic are in a great position to build the game higher up the pitch, and when Kyogo just goes to go over the top and then drops off, finds a bit of space for himself, and then uses almost the defender to bend the ball around him and just by the post. So it was a really, really good play from Celtic. Just the final maybe finish was just off target.
That's what he's all about, Ian. You can be not mentioning Kyogo, you can forget that he's on the pitch, and then all of a sudden a potential moment of magic like that.
Well, we're watching the game right in front of us. There's just no space behind where he likes to get into, but his first touch there was fantastic. Second touch just missed the target, but the first touch set him up beautifully.
Declan Gallagher with a free kick for United, far right hand side, and long ball down the right flank is eventually off Fotheringham, I think, and out for a Celtic throw-in level with their own 18. And it's Taylor back to Scales and then to Schmeichel inside the 6-yard box. Now Welsh finds Ralston on this near side, and then he flights it back to the edge of his own box for Liam Scales, who'll maraud forward here up towards the halfway line. Into the United half he goes, runs into trouble. He was obstructed there, says the referee, by Lucas Stevenson, so that's going to be a free kick to Celtic. It's good positive play by Liam Scales, and you know Celtic are comfortable in a game when the centre backs are doing that.
Yeah, but you know, the one thing with Liam Scales, he will drive in midfield. It's just that next ball, and that was a heavy touch by him, and I think the young lad in middle of the pitch for Dundee United probably did the right thing in blocking him off, but give away the free kick and just stops the attack. But yeah.
There's Yang for Celtic, back to Welsh, and Scales out to Maida. It's that second league start of the season for Yang, as it is for Ralston. First for Welsh, he's on the ball here, clips it into the United area, misjudged by Strain. He's lucky it didn't find Kyogo. Maida put it across. Kyogo's not far away from making contact, and it goes behind.
Offside?
I think offside anyway. Did go behind the byline.
Check his stud Strain, because that's a couple of times now he's slipped in very, very important positions.
He's not had a great half thus far, Ryan Strain.
No, he struggled both ends of the pitch, and he's lucky there because, okay, the flag's gone up. Had it not done, Kyogo had tucked it home and been onside, then he would have heard all about it from Jim Goodwin. Already not be impressed with what he's seen from him. Jim Goodwin down there having a little look at his watch. He will note now that just about hit the half hour. No goals yet. Walton's long ball forward goes out of play into touch for a Celtic throw over on the far side, which Taylor bowls back to Scales. Square to Welsh, and then out to Ralston on this near side. Ralston goes back to Scales, midway inside his own half, walking pace. Square to Welsh again, takes it up to halfway, back to Scales. Patient from Celtic, they're having to be patient here. United's defensive record is third best in the division this season. Ralston to Welsh in the centre circle, out to McCowan on this near side. The misunderstanding between McCowan and Yang, sees the ball go out of play. I think McCowan was expecting Yang to come and take it off him. Yang was expecting McCowan to continue. It's United 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, just looking at Dundee United, they're well organised across the back and in the middle of the pitch, and they're just dropping two strikers. They're just kind of dropping back in to close the spot. It's a bit predictable, I suppose. Easy to read from Celtic at the moment.
McCowan for Celtic. To the right there, Ralston. A lovely little pirouette there by Ralston, but Ferry's there for United to clear. Now it goes off a Celtic, maybe come off Ralston last, out for a United throw-in, which Ferry takes infield to Sevelge, back to Holt, rolls it infield and Walton clears. That's going to find touch as well. Now for a Celtic throw down below us.
Anything up in the area, eh?
Yeah, it just flies out of the pitch.
Yeah.
The game's got a bit sloppy in the last 5-10 minutes. Mistakes. Ryan Strain again, they're panicking and giving the ball straight to a Celtic player, so they need to get a little bit controlled in United. It's really, really hard for them.
It's Hatate out to the left for Maida. Maida then back to Hatate, infield for McCowan. Now McGregor to the edge of the United box, the left angle of it. Taylor passes back to Hatate, squares it infield to Welsh. Low ball up the edge of the box. McCowan, great touch, great turn, and he shoots just wide again. It's the second time he's done that in this first half. It stays United 0, Celtic 0. McCowan coming close again.
Yeah, Matt, listen, great ability. His first touch away from his opponent was fantastic. Just right on his left foot as well. Just couldn't get the shot on target. He looks the most likely to get a goal, Luke McCowan, thus far.
Long ball from Kevin Holt. Again, it catches the wind, breaks to McGregor. Infield for McCowan. Pass goes straight to Sevelge. Now it's with Declan Gallagher, who knocks it out to that right-hand side for Strain. Back to Gallagher, digs it out with the right foot, but again it's straight into touch.
It was a bad pass, just to lay it back. He hits it to the wrong side of Declan Gallagher, and he almost nearly loses his balance, and he just kicks it straight out of play and gives the possession back to Celtic.
I think United are struggling with the conditions here. They seem to be playing into the wind. It's swirling around, but they seem to be having that little extra bit of fighting against it in this first half. Remember a Dundee derby here in the late 80s, must have been 1989 time, but the wind essentially scored one of the goals. When I think it was United trying to clear their lines, it eventually caught the wind and blew back into the net. Here comes Celtic's Yang across the face of goal. Kyogo and Hatate are both waiting for a pullback 7 yards from goal. He's played it towards the back post where there's nobody in green and white, and it goes behind for a goal kick and stays Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, sorry, Pack, it was just a poor ball. It was just a really, really poor cross. I mean, he's got to angle that back the way rather than forward. Doesn't give the Hatate or Kyogo a chance to go on it.
Yeah, but he did everything right initially. You know, he gets in behind the full back, and the pass was a beautiful pass played through to him, and he had all the time in the world to get his decision right, and just poor at the end up to execution.
Hatate for Celtic, out to the right hand side for Yang, taking on Ferry. It's now level with the United 6-yard line, plays it across, cut out by Ferry, and out for a Celtic throw-in, which Hatate takes quickly. Here's Yang to McCowan. He's got it back into the path of Yang, but it's cleared by Sevelge. Here's Dolby, who's been a virtual spectator in this first half, getting involved deep in his own half. Back to Ferry, and then side foots it high and out onto the underside of the roof of the stand in front of us, and out for a Celtic throw-in.
Dundee United will be happy though, at this point in time. They haven't had a lot of possession of the ball. They haven't been maybe up into Celtic's half enough, probably maybe because of conditions, but they've actually kind of stopped Celtic from really creating anything absolutely clear cut. There have been a few chances, maybe wrong decisions by Celtic, but they'll be very happy to be in a position they are in at this moment in time.
Celtic just south of 75% possession, scales from distance, and the wind you never know, but that is flown high over the bar from about 30 yards, and it stays goalless.
Well, listen, Jim Goodwin, to what Packy says there, if they get inside at half time at 0-0, shooting down the slope with the wind in the second half, he'll be absolutely delighted.
Absolutely. United next two games, St Johnstone in Perth on Boxing Day, and then next Sunday, week today, they welcome struggling Aberdeen to Tannadice. As United come forward, it's flicked on there by Fotheringham, high ball, looking to try and get Thompson in behind the Celtic defence, but Celtic clear. United claim high boot in the midfield. The referee's not interested in the protests. Bouncing ball, headed away by Holt. Maida finds McCowan, Sevelge battling for it, gets it through towards Dalby. Welsh gets there and closes the door just as Dalby thought he was going to be able to run through on goal. Taylor has it, moves it infield. Now it's with McCowan. He was looking for Yang, cut out by Ferry. He's managed to slip it forward down the left for Glenn Middleton. He'll drive forward. McCowan trying to stay with him. Middleton's done well, fires it across. Welsh blocks, and behind it goes. Not sure if it's a corner or a throw. It's down on this left-hand side anyway. It'll be a United ball. It remains nothing each.
Again, you're right, Liam. A real good threat from Middleton. He certainly got the pace of the full-back. He just needs to cut that ball back to United. I don't know what player it was free in the middle. He's got to cut it back there.
Yeah, I think it was Thompson.
Yeah.
That was in a brilliant position on the penalty spot, unmarked.
It is a throw for United, which Ferry takes. Finds Holt level with the 18-yard line, trying to return it to Ferry, cleared by Ralston, breaks back to Holt, gets the ball in, and Schmeichel gathers just as Dalby was trying to get his head onto it. The Celtic keeper grabs it and then pulls it forward, looking for Hatate or Maida, but neither get onto it, and it's Lucas Stevenson who emerges with the ball instead. He goes down, no free kick. Celtic have it. It's United 0, Celtic 0. We're in almost the final 8 minutes of the opening 45. And It is Yang for Celtic on this near side, infield to the edge of the centre circle for McGregor. Square to Taylor. Taylor then forward to McCowan to his right. Middleton gets in the way, wins it back, and now Seb Elge out to this left-hand side. Middleton was fouled by McCowan, and that's going to be a free kick to United midway inside their own half, and the referee wants to speak to Luke McCowan.
Yeah, obviously he lost the ball, Luke McCowan, initially. Touch wasn't good, and then he ended up... Middleton did well, actually, and against him in that instance, and then he ends up fouling him. But I don't think there's too much in it.
The only goals Celtic have conceded in the league this season: Sockler, Shinnie, Hale, drama. And it was the Sockler and Shinnie goals, the only ones that have cost them points this season. 2 each draw back in October.
It's sometimes, I feel it's sometimes bizarre watching a game of football when there's 21 players playing in one half, you know, and it's right in front of us, and that's, you know, 3/4 of the pitch not being used.
United have the free kick and Kevin Holt to take. It's down on the left of the centre circle. It's a long ball up towards the edge of the Celtic box. Dalby wins the header. Was strong there against Welsh. Could potentially have the beating of Stephen Welsh this afternoon, Sam Dalby, if they can service him.
Absolutely, I think that's something you'll see in the second half. Maybe going forward a little bit earlier and get runners off Dalby.
You don't see that sort of traditional centre forward in the game too often now, but he's a big, powerful boy up front, and he can be a real handful if you get a good ball into the box.
Yeah, and there's Middleton winning a Dundee United corner off Tony Ralston down on this near side.
Middleton's been really, really positive. I mean, he's been feeding in scraps, but every time he's got the ball, he's been really, really positive and progressive.
Sportsound, BBC Radio Scotland across the frequencies, on digital, on sounds at bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland. The first of 2 Premiership matches on the show today. Rugby to come as well later in the afternoon. Highlights on the telly tonight on Sports Scene. United corner, and it comes a useful delivery towards the penalty spot. Celtic stab clear through Hatate. Yang picks it up wide on the left, back to Taylor. The quick break is not going to happen for Celtic to come back to Schmeichel, who knocks it out to this right-hand side for Ralston. You could see Schmeichel's ball there. The wind caught it. It whipped towards Ralston, who did well to control it. And it's left of the circle for Scales.
Anything in the air today, Liam, is really difficult. The ball, the one is catching the ball. You've got to keep it on the deck if you can.
Scales moving it from left to right of the centre circle. Now McCowan on this near side for Yang on the right-hand side of the United box. His pass towards Ralston eventually reaches him despite Ferry's best efforts. The linesman's waving his flag to suggest a United free kick for a foul on Will Ferry. Down below us, the Celtic fans not impressed with that as we tick into the final 5 minutes of the regulation time, certainly in this first half.
I have no idea what that free kick was given for. You know, I'm not impressed with that decision either.
United are quite happy with it though.
Absolutely.
And Walton come out to take 6 clean sheets for Jack Walton this season. This is his 21st appearance. They have been conceding. It's not necessarily been loads of goals. They of course did lose the 4 to Motherwell last weekend. A thrilling match at Fir Park, which Jim Goodwin's probably still scratching his head that they conceded so often in the afternoon in Lanarkshire, as Welsh finds Scales left of the centre circle to Taylor, back to Scales to the right of the centre circle for Welsh. United have everyone behind the ball here. It's with Taylor. Taylor then side foots it to Welsh, square of him. Now McCowan, his ball to Yang's cut out. Now it's Middleton battling to get it clear, come off him last. It's going to be a Celtic throw-in down below us. Important phase in the game this for Dundee United in particular, you feel?
Crucial, yeah. Just as I said, getting at 0-0, they'll be thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
Callum McGregor, square ball to Scales. Maida wants it wide left, that's where it goes, low along the grass. Maida has it up against Strain, he's got the early ball in. Kyogo on the turn, a little bit of fresh air. Kevin Holt did enough to perhaps put him off as well, but it looked as though Kyogo was going to smash that home. It stays 0-0 as McGregor slides it through looking for Maida, and it's cut out, and United have it with Dalby, but he's given it straight back to Celtic, and it's Ralston to Scales, and United perhaps getting away with one there. Kevin Holt did enough, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. I think Kyogo's got to do better. I think there was a lot of pace in the ball, and he maybe just had to guide it in rather than go and lash at it. But Kevin Holt did really well.
It was a similar one that Stephen Walsh had from the corner. But and I did say that time if it fell to a striker that he would do better. But that was another fresh air from Kyogo.
It's back with Welsh midway inside the United half, with everyone bar Kasper Schmeichel ahead of him.
That's 30 yards the players are in.
Yeah. McGregor. Square ball for Welsh. It's a delicate chip ball into the United area to the left of it, headed away by Strain. Here's Taylor. Gets it back to Scales. Can Celtic find a way through before half-time?
It's almost you want one of the midfielders to go back and get the ball and be able to pick a pass. It's kind of almost the onus is on the two centre halves to pick that pass. Sometimes then it's not on, or they haven't got the confidence to go and play it.
Long ball forward for United. The clearance. Scales there under pressure from Miller-Thompson. Finds Welsh, who finds Taylor, left of the centre circle, out to the left. Maida driving deep into the United half now. To the left hand side, it's McGregor, pulled back. Hatate, little shuffle of the feet, looking for space, and he shoots with the left over the bar. Into the Eddie Thompson stand it goes, and it stays Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. United hanging on a little bit right at the last knock-ins of the first half.
They are, and I think it was good defending. I wasn't quite sure. It might have been Stephen, I'm not sure who it was, because he could have dived in there, and you're thinking straight away penalty kick. Hatate just got a touch and then lashed over the bar.
Goal kick for United. What have you made of the first half performance from Celtic, Packy?
Yeah, I think, listen, they've lots of possession, as we know they would have, and that it's just been a wee bit predictable at times. Just the odd time when they've maybe had a disguised pass or they got somebody in behind, you could see that sort of that little bit of ability that they have. But in the main, it's quite easy to read. I'm looking at the Dundee United almost organisation, and they haven't had to work too hard. Other games you've seen maybe better movement or the ball moving quicker, and teams have really struggled with that movement, but today it's been a wee bit more predictable, I think.
But in the final minute of the 45, there's going to be, as it stands, 1 minute added on at the end of that, as McCowan, that's poor control from Luke McCowan, took his eyes off it for a split second and it bobbles out for a throw into United.
There's no doubt, Liam, there's no doubt. I think they miss Kuhn, they miss Johnson. Both of them linking up together down this right-hand side is a real threat to any team. Today, you haven't seen Andy Ralston getting into those positions that Johnson gets into, for example. Yang hasn't been on the ball enough for me, and a 1v1 situation. So that has just taken away that sort of maybe ability from Celtic down this right-hand side.
Johnston is such a threat down here with Kuhn on the right-hand side.
Well, he makes brilliant runs.
Yeah. And Kuhn's tough enough as a winger, but Johnston's effectively a second winger coming at you. So we go into that 1 minute of stoppages at the end of this first half, which remains goalless, and it's Ferry bowling it down the left-hand side there, midway inside the Celtic half, headed away by Welsh once but twice. Stevenson heads it forward, headed away by Ralston. Ferry's underneath it, headed away by Hatate up to halfway. Holt's ball forwards cut out. Now it's with Kyogo. Tries to touch it back to Yang, cut out by Sevelj. Battling for it with the two Celtic players. Breaks to Ferry. Down the left-hand side for Dalby. Comes off Ralston and out for a United throw-in. United just about there, just about at half-time, all square.
They are, and I think, we mentioned the two centre-backs, Holt and Gallagher. It's the type of game that they love. I mean, I know Holt really well. I had him as a player, but they're not too comfortable with things down the side of them. But the depth is such that there's nothing down the side. They're just playing against people in front of them and coping well.
Well, there is the half-time whistle here at Tannadice. Brendan Rodgers' first visit to this stadium as a manager, as he makes his way up to the tunnel, which is of course off to our right behind the corner flag here. Jim Goodwin is breaking in a little jog as he makes his way down towards the home changing room. And whilst United haven't been too much of a threat, they've defended stoutly by and large. Celtic have had a few chances. Generally they've been from long range. McCowan with a couple of bites at it. Kyogo shot from just outside the box, just wide, and he had fresh air at one as we made our way towards half time, where it came to him inside the box, but Holt was right on top of him. Kyogo still looked like he was going to be able to get a shot away, but it was more fresh air than football and United were able to clear, as they have done time and time again in that first half. But given, even though it's not the first choice Celtic starting 11, given they're up against the champions, given they were playing into the wind by and large in that first half, Jim Goodwin will be very satisfied that the half-time scoreline here at Tannadice Park is Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
On digital radio,
FM,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and on BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
There's no substitute.
So goals it is at half-time in the first of our Premiership matches for this afternoon. Celtic certainly with the bulk of the possession and the opportunities on goal. They certainly have not appeared particularly threatened at any point during that first half. Full live commentary to come from the second half, then we'll be live from Tynecastle. It's a massive game there, isn't it? Heart of Midlothian against St Johnstone. Highlights of both on Sportscene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And there's a busy week ahead as ever. Obviously we'll take a bit of a break for Christmas, but there's Boxing Day action with a full card of Premiership matches, including the Edinburgh Derby. So lots to look forward to as you enjoy your festive celebrations. Let's reflect, shall we, on opening 45 minutes at Tannadice. I think it's fair to say that it's a 45 minutes, Pat Bonner, that Celtic have dominated without being at their sparkling best.
Yeah, just a wee bit predictable, as I said in commentary at times. They've got into some very, very good positions, but they've not been able to hit the target and make the goalkeeper produce the save. You know, they had shots from outside the box. Luke McCowan had a couple. Kyogo had one that went by the right-hand post, got into a nice position. But just hitting that target is the key for them, and moving the ball maybe a little bit quicker at times. Obviously, having players missing, and we did talk about it down this right-hand side. We talked about before the game, and I think during commentary, that the big threat of Johnson and Kuhn is missing. You know, that partnership, and how many times have we seen Johnson getting into brilliant positions as a underlapping fullback. That hasn't really happened today with Anthony Ralston and Yang, and that's a bit of an issue for them. I don't know whether he'll change it in any way when at halftime. The other maybe player that he might bring on now is maybe Adamida, maybe in the second half, just because they're going to be against that, you know, that wind. They need to be able to hold the ball up high up the pitch and get players up at times, and they may have to go a little bit more direct at times from deeper positions. But it just hasn't been that electric you know, play that we've seen. Lots of possession, and you would expect maybe Celtic to create a few more chances by having that amount of possession. But Dundee United well organised, difficult to break down, getting everybody behind the ball.
Yes, Pat says lots of possession, Ian, for Celtic, but what we've not seen is that dynamic movement, the dynamic passing, the quick rat-a-tat 1-2s that we see so often.
Yeah, I mean, it must be said, Richard, it's a really, really tough day to play up here. I don't know if people, you know, that are here appreciate just how hard it is. I mean, Dundee United were really pleased with how it's going. I must admit, I find it bizarre to watch a game of football when there's 21 players within 35 yards of the pitch. And that's just that's not down to Jim Goodwin's tactics. It's just down to a disparity of finance between Celtic and Dundee United. I mean, I think I agree with Packy. I think the right-hand side of Celtic's team, which has been incredibly potent, is missing, and they're missing that a little bit. And Maeda hasn't been great. I think I would say that I think Kyogo would probably be more effective against the wind. I think it's quite easy. I think expect Dundee United to try and have a go as the game progresses. Therefore, there might be one or two more spaces down the sides, because the two centre-backs just now, Declan Gallagher and Kevin, they're coping really comfortably because everything's in front of them. They don't like, good players as they are, I know Holty really well, but they don't like people down the side of them. And it's a bit easier when you're going up the hill here at Tannadice. And also there's a wind there, so I think Kyogo might be a threat in the second half. But listen, Jim will be really, really pleased with the level. Apart from, well, he won't be pleased with Ryan Strain, but well, all the other players will be really pleased with Ryan Strain a little bit. A good player that he is, but he said 2 or 3 or 4 bits of, lapses of concentration. But really
change
pleased.
His boots also.
Yeah, he'll need to do that
a couple of times.
And listen, it must be. It's really, really tough to play against when you've got that many players behind the ball. You've got to move it really, really quickly, get it side to side. But I think as well, one of the things you've got to be able to do is commit men to isolate men one-on-one and beat players. And there's not a lot of players in Scottish football these days are able to do that. Celtic have got 2 or 3. One of them's not playing today, but they need to do that a wee bit better, I think.
I mean, I suppose you could look at various parts of the team, but actually no Nicholas Kuhn and Yang in from nowhere to replace him. Pat, that's been a huge difference, hasn't it?
Yeah, huge.
Actually, just on that, I mean, I think the probably the best opening of the whole game was about 10 minutes before half-time. It was a magnificent ball through from Stephen Welsh, and Yang was free in the box, and he's got at least two players to pick out, and he just hits a nothing pass across the 6-yard box.
Yeah, his movement initially was very, very good, because he sort of almost gets his timing right of the run. The brilliant pass from Stephen Welch, as you say. He got into a brilliant position. He had all the time in the world to make a decision. Does he hit the target, go for a goal? Does he pick somebody out? And he does neither. The balls are way across the goal, and there wasn't even anybody at the back stick that you could see that he was trying to pick out at this point in time. So that execution, that's down to probably not playing enough. You've got to say, well, it's one thing in training, but see, when you're under pressure, the fans and everybody's here and so on and so forth, that's the difference. And then you've got to make your decisions, and decisions have got to be almost like automatic. It's not that you maybe have to think too much about it, and if you're not playing games, that's the bit that's always missing.
Celtic have now gone 323 minutes without conceding a goal in the Premiership. Early in the season they went 582 without conceding. I think it's fair to say, Ian, that's not been under much threat in the first 45 minutes, isn't it?
No, it certainly hasn't. I mean, the one player that has looked a threat for Dundee United, I think Dalby's got to do better. I expect him to come to the fore in the second half. I think Dundee United will use him more, but Glenn Middleton has 2 or 3 times has shown a clean, I can't believe I'm saying a clean pair of heels, but anyway, he's outpaced the back line 2 or 3 times. Just that final ball, one occasion if he'd have cut to back, Miller Thompson was free around the penalty spot, but he looks to have the boot beating the full-back and the wide player, and he's been really, really positive. And I think it's really, really crucial in games when you play either Celtic or a really good Rangers team, that you have a player that can take you out the pitch, and he's done it on 2 or 3 occasions, taking the ball and taking it for a run 40, 50, whatever yards. That's crucial. Need more of that in the second half, I think.
I know the wind has been an issue. It seems to have got stronger during the course of the 45. I mean, I was obviously at the Cove game yesterday, and it was absolutely horrendous. I mean, I really felt for the players. Anytime the ball is off the ground at all, it takes off. Even if you're playing the pass on the deck, if the wind's behind you, suddenly it just shoots off. I mean, it does create additional difficulties for all the guys out there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I've said for many years, I mean, my first game in management was 27 years ago, and I would put games off for the wind. I don't think it's bad enough today for that, but I've been involved in. So the funny thing is, you want games off, but then when you play the game and you're maybe like this yesterday and it was a disaster, you win 2-0, you're like, well, okay, that was fine, we should have played it. But I do think when the wind gets to a certain level, and I've been involved in games like this, dare I mention Arbroath, that's where the worst wind in Scottish football is, but I think we should be putting games off for it. It's not, as I say, it's not that bad today, but it does make it really, really tricky to play football in it. And you know what, supporters and everybody says, and maybe we're guilty of it, but just keep the ball in the deck, it's not quite as easy as that.
No, it's not. And when you have to clear your lines, especially if you're a goalkeeper, you can't keep it on the ground. You've got to play it over the top of people. And we've seen examples today where he's played it, next thing is caught in the wind, and it almost goes out of play. Well, that's not what you're trying to do, but unfortunately the wind has that effect.
I guess Dundee United over the piece will be happy. As things stand at Tannadice, it is goalless at the interval.
It's the sound of Christmas Day with Kathy and Tony from 8 a.m.
It's beginning to look a
Join us as we explore Scotland's Christmases through the ages.
Great conversations and music, all dressed up with a sprig of holly.
Brian has your requests and dedications across the morning.
It's Radio Scotland, and we're live with you on Christmas Day.
And as you tuck into Christmas dinner, the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra takes you to the movies.
As we celebrate some of the finest scores for the silver screen.
Christmas Day on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
This is Sports Sound. I'm sure you're all feeling very festive as we move towards the celebrations. Right now, we've still got some very important business to finish off at Tannadice, and then we're off to Tynecastle. What a game that could be. Hearts against St Johnstone. A busy Sunday afternoon for you. The onus is on Celtic, but they are, I will say, weakened in the sense that, yes, they are missing some guys who would clearly be in that starting lineup. But the onus is there on them to. They'll be expected to win this game. Do you see them looking to the bench, and who in particular? You did mention Ida. Palma is another one, I suppose, similar to Yang, maybe, who's flattered to deceive a bit, although he has contributed a bit more than Yang has. Yeah, and Bernardo's there. You've got Villa, who comes on sometimes in that left back position and gets himself forward, you know. So I do think he can go to the bench, but I think he'll leave it until he'll probably have words with him about trying to speed the game up a little bit more, and in the second half try to exploit maybe areas where maybe Dundee United might be kind of almost now saying, well, we're with the one, we'll get into more forward positions, higher up the pitch. That'll leave space further up the pitch for Celtic maybe to exploit, and you know, the likes of Maeda with his pace, Yang maybe coming to the fore a little bit, Kyogo running down the channels as Ian maybe described. So he'll leave it until he sees how things are going, but certainly, yeah, the onus is on them to win the game. It'll be really interesting with that one. Can the two centre halves handle, you know, if Dundee United start playing balls higher, you know, longer and up the pitch, can they actually handle that, and you know, or will the one just drag the ball through to the goalkeeper? But at getting them the decisions right at the back will be critical for Celtic to do so they don't give anything away and give Dundee United the opportunity to put real pressure on them, because this is a big game. If they can get through this game today, they've got 2 games at home, and then over the holiday period, the next 2 games, and they'll be in a really, really good position and leading into the Rangers game. I was looking at the United bench too, Pat. They've got some clever players there. Babunski and Trapanovsky certainly got off to a flying start to their careers at Tannadice. Ross Graham's another very clever player, but I just wonder if it is the kind of day for those type of players, and actually if they are going to continue to be backs to the wall, it's perhaps more defensive minded guys who they're going to need out there, because the longer they can keep this at 0-0, the more happy and contented they'll be, surely. Absolutely, and you know, going in maybe into the last 20 minutes, if it's still 0-0, you know, and you have the conditions with you in your favour, then you can start playing balls maybe into the box, get maybe an extra player on up in that area, and then it gives you an opportunity to get something, and that would be a fantastic result for Jim Goodwin if he could get something out of this game today, you know, to build on what they've done so far this season. It would be magnificent for him. But Celtic, I still think, have got enough in their even without the players playing, they've enough today to go on and win this game in the second half. But it's going to be tricky for them. They'll have to be, any chance that comes along in the second half, they'll have to take them, because this game I don't think will run out the way sometimes it does with Celtic in the second half, maybe 2 and 3. It's going to be maybe an odd goal that's going to win it. Celtic, of course, currently 8 points clear at the top of the table. This is their game in hand over Rangers, who are now up into second spot after yesterday's matches. A little bit later in the programme, we'll look back on the action which has already taken place. Those wins yesterday for Hibernian at Pittodrie, for Rangers against Dundee, for St Mirren in Dingwall, and then the Friday night fixture between Motherwell and Kilmarnock, and a few big talking points I think the guys might want to express their thoughts on. VAR getting involved or not getting involved in a number of cases, and referees with some big decisions over the course of the last couple of days. It's all been fairly quiet on that front so far at Tannadice. Dundee United, as we mentioned, going into the game with the 3rd best defensive record in the top flight. It has been a very creditable return to the Premiership for Jim Goodwin and his team. Just 4 defeats out of 16, and as things stand, it is goalless against the champions and runaway league leaders, and not too many teams have done that over the course of this domestic season. Remember the highlights of this one, and indeed Hearts against St Johnstone Sports Scene tonight at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And live commentary to come from that Hearts St Johnstone bottom of the table clash. Paul Mitchell describing all the action then alongside Alan Preston and Callum Davidson. So we are with you through until 5 o'clock. The Rugby 2, of course, from about 2:30 we'll head across, giving you the option to listen to Glasgow Warriors against Edinburgh. But with the teams back out, let's return for second half action. Dundee United against Celtic with Pat Bonner, Ian McCall and Liam McLeod.
Just one win in 30 for Dundee United against Celtic, going back to a 2012 success when Scott Robertson scored the only goal. And they've only kept one clean sheet against them in those 30 meetings. It was a 0-0 here in March 21. That actually saw Neil Lennon's team relinquish the league title after 9 successive seasons. The last time Celtic didn't win this fixture, they were celebrating anyway. It was a 1-1 draw in May 22, which sealed their first title under Ange Postecoglou, despite Dylan Levitt cancelling out a Giakoumakis opener. Celtic won the title that night here, not for the first time. They sealed a title here as Celtic kick off the second half, going right to left, shooting towards the shed end. United down the slope towards the Eddie Thompson stand. And perhaps with the benefit of the wind behind them, we shall see. No changes for either team at the start of the second half, so it's as you were. Walton in goal for the hosts. Strain, Gallagher, Holt, Ferry, Thompson, Seveld, Stevenson, with Fotheringham, Middleton wide supporting Dalby. Celtic with Schmeichel in goal, Ralston, Welsh, Scales, Taylor, McCowan, McGregor, Hatate, Yang, Maida, Kyogo. Celtic have it, green and white hoop shirts against the tangerine and black of United. Out to the left it is for Maida. Again, there's some smoke coming from the shed. And obviously that's been in the headlines this week as well. And billowing green smoke coming and floating across that area of the pitch as United pinch it back, and now Miller Thompson's driving forward and Celtic could be caught out here. Thompson's looking up, he and Dalby in support, he shoots himself. It's pretty tame in the end. It's a pretty comfortable save for Kasper Schmeichel. But United with a shot on target for the first time, Ian McCall, in the first minute of the second half.
Yeah, really good driving run by Miller Thompson. You thought at one stage Dalby would have been the better option, but I thought Scales kind of dropped off and defended him reasonably well, so he took the shot off, just not enough power in it, and Schmeichel was pretty comfortable.
No, you're right, Ian. Scales made a good decision there.
Yeah, he did.
If he went to Thompson, the ball could have been easily played by him, and that was then Dalby in and top of Schmeichel. He can almost, I'll let the goalkeeper make the save from that distance, and he came up trumps.
Just a little warning for Celtic though, the challenge they face here this afternoon. United have returned to the top flight, and it's been a very good start to the campaign as we head towards the halfway point of it, as Kyogo's ball goes behind Maida and out for a Dundee United throw-in down on this near side.
Yeah, just a wrong decision there from Maida. I think Kyogo should have saved. Made the run sort of almost inside, and I think he did a little penetrating ball he's looking for. Instead, Kyogo plays it wide and it goes out for a throw.
Tati goes down, no free kick. United play on. Will Ferry picks up wide on the left, the United number 11. A little slip ahead of him from Middleton, which took him away as an option. Infield to Sevelge, back to Ferry, and back to Gallagher, former Scotland international. Long ball forward, it's a slip from Scales, but it was a push, says the referee, and his assistant on this near side, and that will be a free kick. Dalby wasn't getting there anyway, Schmeichel had read it.
I think it was just offside as well, and the push, and he was never getting it.
It is Celtic on the ball with Yang on the far side. Infield to McGregor on the halfway line, and to the edge of the centre circle for Taylor. Back into it for Welsh. To his left for Scales. Ball forward to Hatate. Stabs it first time to Taylor. Square for McGregor. Square for Ralston. Yang on the touchline on the far side. Ferry comes to meet him. Yang taking him on at the angle of the box. Still it's Yang. Checks back onto his right side. Rolls it back out to Ralston. Takes a touch. Low ball back to Hatate. They're overcooking it a little bit here, the champions. And it's a foul by Hatate inside the United box on Stevenson. And the hosts have a free kick. It's 0-0 at Tannadice. We played 3.5 second half minutes.
I think you were spot on there. I mean, I know that Celtic want to move the ball, and you know, they created a really good opening, but at some point you need to cross the ball into an area where you can score a goal from, and I think they should have done that just a little bit earlier.
And Yang had the opportunity, I think, to almost have a shot at target also when he came on the inside, and that's maybe again a little lack of confidence, or when you're not in the team.
Still the wind whipping around Tannadice Park as Walton prepares to take this free kick. Celtic fans want him to get a move on. Up into the air it goes. You can see he's got the benefit of the wind. He's pulled it over to this near side. It's Dalby's header back the way. Gallagher heads it into the Celtic half. Scales wins it with the head this time. Infield it drops to McCowan. He goes back to Ralston and then to Welsh. Square ball for Scales. Right foot low out to Taylor on this near side. Taylor up to the halfway line, switches it to the right there of it for Welsh, just inside the United half now to Ralston. Ralston taking it into a more central position, right centre. He's played it short to his captain, and McGregor finds Taylor. Central area, Taylor gets it back from McCowan. Taylor rolling it to Midas, is promising for Celtic. Down to the byline was Midas. The challenge is good though from Ryan Strain to put it behind for a Celtic corner, their first of the second half, which is almost 5 minutes old at 0-0.
I think when you're talking about moving the ball quicker, the pace of pass there from Taylor was perfect. Created the space for Maeda.
Luke McCowan's going to leave the corner to Yang. This near side, the Celtic fans bunched into the shed behind Jack Walton's goal. Yang struggling to spot the ball up in the quadrant for this corner. She will eventually take, right-footed in-swinger. In it comes, bending towards the 6-yard line. Scales jumped a little bit too early. United clears a handball, I think, in there, at least a push, but it's going to be a free kick to Dundee United on their 6-yard line, and it stays United 0, Celtic 0.
It was well defended again. I mean, Dundee United have defended their box really, really well. Their two centre-backs have got really, really close to their opponents, and I mean, famous last words against Celtic, but they haven't really been troubled apart from efforts from distance.
Almost half Dundee United's league goals have come in the final 15 minutes of games this season. Because of those goals, it's resulted in an extra 12 points. That is a not insignificant number, given it's half their points total. And that's remarkable that they've managed to pick up so many points exclusively due to goals in that period of the match at this stage of the season. United down the left-hand side. Normally you see that kind of statistic at the end of a campaign. It's back with Welsh here for Celtic. He's inside his own box, plays it short out to McCowan. He goes back to Schmeichel.
Yeah, he's just caught him.
It's a United player down, so
yeah, he's caught him in the face, Liam. Just as the ball's played into him, he's almost put his hand out to block the player from getting close to the ball. He's just got him in the face. I think it's trying to see who it is. Yeah.
You guys played in the League Cup final when it was obviously moved to the spring for a while. When you guys played, it was in the kind of late autumn, early winter sort of time. Probably on the winning side and the receiving end, the two of you. How does it affect your season after that? It was such a big game at that point.
Well, I can only comment. I only played in the losing side. Packy probably played in the winning side.
One League Cup, one actually.
Yeah, I mean, I
lost a few too.
To be honest, as a player, I don't think it affects you that much. And I think every game's different. This particular final that we saw, I think, was really good for Rangers and Celtic because they won it at Rangers because, without saying they got a lot of pride by it, but their performance was such that they think, well, maybe we can match Celtic. So I think both teams can kick on from it.
Yeah, I think the one thing is it takes the monkey off your back is if you win a cup, because you have to win. Celtic Rangers got to win a trophy almost every year, otherwise you're under pressure. Well, that was the case in our day, so that took the monkey off your back a little bit by winning something.
Long ball from Walton under pressure from Kyogo, goes all the way through to his opposite number, Schmeichel, who gathers inside his own penalty area. No goals at Tannadice. Celtic have it with Scales. They've got such broad daylight at the top of the Premiership right now, Celtic, that even if they were to drop points today, it'd be far from disastrous. And Scales rolls it out to Maeda. as Packy says, they have to win every game, and it's Maida down the left, and he's just taking a poor touch, and it goes behind for the goal kick to Dundee United. Just little things like that will give the Dundee United players and their manager, their fans, so much belief that there are points to be had here.
Absolutely. I think it's the fans, because what the fans see then transmits onto the players, the atmosphere around. Maeda as well, I don't know if Pack agrees with us, he is the type of player, for me he's really effective, but he's best when he's reverse movement and he's getting beyond people without running with the ball. Well, you go.
No, Ralston's in no man's land here. Long ball, Middleton's not getting there. It just nicked away from him at the last. Jim Goodwin applauding the early ball though, which came out from defence, and it stays 0-0.
Yeah, that's just a one again that took that. It was a good ball over the top, and Middleton almost getting in behind Tony Ralston, but it runs through to Schmeichel. But just talking about Maeda, I think in a 1v1 situation, what you've got to do with Maeda is stay away from him. Don't go tight too early, because he has the pace, he'll knock it by you, and he's got strength to run. But so just stay 2 or 3 yards away from him. That's when you're tight with him and then he makes a run without the ball, that's the one that's always danger.
Stevenson wins the header in the midfield, goes straight to Welsh though. Now it's with Taylor. Square ball, McGregor was trying to get it under control. It's ended up at the feet of Ralston behind him, and into the centre circle for Callum McGregor. Now with Taylor, almost 10 minutes into the second half, nothing each. Forward to Hatate. Gallagher all over him. Gallagher out of position now. Hatate trying to knock it through to Taylor. Taylor has it. It's an early ball to the back post. It's a really decent effort from Greg Taylor. Walton relieved to see that swerve by his goal frame in behind for the goal kick, and it stays United 0, Celtic 0.
It all comes with the pass from Greg. I mean, Greg Taylor's done well in the secondary part of it. It was Greg Taylor's pass in behind, in between the lines, that got Celtic on the momentum there. The ball wasn't just quite good enough, the final ball.
United's last 6 wins against Celtic have all come at Tannadice. Celtic get a free kick in the midfield. The last victory at Celtic Park came in Boxing Day 1992. Duncan Ferguson got the goal. Just 6 Tannadice victories in 107 meetings in all competition in the 32 years since Duncan Ferguson scored that festive winner in Glasgow's East End.
Sam Dalby's a good centre forward, but he isn't Duncan Ferguson.
Here is Hatate, midway inside the United half, out to the right there for Yang, trying desperately to shake off Ferry, who fouls him, and that'll be a Celtic free kick, probably between 25-30 yards from goal. It's right of centre. A chance here for the champions to try and conjure something up.
Yeah, he did everything right there, Ferry, initially.
Absolutely,
again,
that's just
getting tight, because Ralston made a great run round the outside of Young, but he can almost force him into not being able to pick him out, but he just gave away the free kick right at the final bit, and that puts a bit of pressure on them.
They've defended this kind of situation pretty well though this afternoon, Dundee United. And they've got the line right along the 18 here as McCowan takes it short to McGregor. Out to the right, Ralston, low ball in, is battered away by Ferry, who gave it away, so he'll be absolutely delighted with that outcome. Breaks to McGregor on the halfway line. Low ball to the right touchline for Ralston. And back to Callum McGregor, who continued his 100% record in cup finals last week at youth and senior level. Here is Scales, out to Hatate on this near side. Hatate infield to Taylor, first time out to Maida. Maida level with the Dundee United 18-yard line, is forced back the way, and then it's back to Scales. Dalby chasing, he's not going to get there. Scales will play it to Schmeichel, who's at the midway point of his own half there. Now it's Welsh forward to McGregor, and then back to Stephen Welsh. Saw yesterday at Ibrox, was doing the game there for Sports Sound. Rangers scored an early goal in the second half and eventually won the game. They were made to work for it in the end. Dundee thought in the last 10-15 minutes they were still in the match. So they started having a go. You started seeing their ball players like Lyle Cameron getting involved. Josh Mulligan made the change, dropped Murray on, Ventro as well, and they caused Rangers problems in the closing stages of the match. Dundee United will be eyeing up perhaps a similar kind of situation if they can stay in the game, even at 0-0 going into the last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, I think Jim Goodwin will be well aware of the stat that you said earlier. Scoring late goals.
Yeah, Scales to Maida, Taylor behind him. Maida trying to get away from Strain. He's done that. He runs into Seville, though. He's done a brilliant job this afternoon. The spoiler in the midfield for United. Out to this right-hand side it comes for Fotheringham. He was fouled by Hatate. Free kick United. Yellow card Hatate. Celtic coming into this had only received 19 yellow cards in 15 and a half games as it was by half-time today. The lowest in the league, but that's Hatate picking up Celtic's 20th of the season. It's a long way behind. I think Aberdeen are the most booked team in the league, well into the 40s.
Yeah, I thought it was a free kick. I didn't think it was a yellow card.
Never a booking. No, unless Hatate's made a few fouls, but I can't remember them if he has.
Ryan Strain, who was booked in the first half, will take the free kick. Right-footed, hangs in the wind on the 18-yard line, headed away and then completed by McCowan. Yang can't get it under control. Middleton has it, nods it to Strain, out to this near side for Thompson. His ball forward cut out by Taylor. Breaks back to Strain. Quick 1-2 with Middleton. Out to Thompson. Challenge from Yang, out for a throw-in on this near side for Dundee United. They're up the pitch here. This is the longest they've been in Celtic territory since the break. As we approach the hour mark, just about to tick onto that in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, they've got to get into these areas though and try and work something so they can get balls into the box and put a little bit of pressure on those centre halves. But yeah, I think this is going to be a long throw from Ferry.
I mean, he's midway inside, maybe just slightly further forward than that in the Celtic half. This is going to take a lot of muscle to get this into the Celtic box. Here he goes, and it comes to the 6-yard area. United win the first header. Dalby is back to goal, and it just wouldn't settle for him, and Celtic clear. That was, again, it's always so crucial. Long throw-ins, corners, free kicks into the box, that you win the first header. And United, or at least the first contact, United did on that occasion. Ian McCall was shouting offside there. The ball's still in play. Flag hasn't gone up. United have it on this near side. Eventually does go out off Strain and out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. We are beyond the hour. Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
That was
Celtic change coming.
Yeah, Celtic change, but that was an opportunity. Went a long throw and the flick on. Dalby getting himself into great position, just couldn't lay it off to anybody inside the box.
Right, let's go to Martin Dowden, who's our pitch side reporter.
Yeah, there will be a change for Celtic, a double change in fact. There will be the lesser spotted Louis Palma coming on for Yang, and Luke McCowan also making way for Adam Ida.
Well, McCowan started the game really brightly, perhaps hasn't been as influential since maybe around about the half-hour mark, but he's off. So Ida and Kyogo get the chance to play together, which is a rarity for Celtic, and Luis Palma coming on as well. Packy, talk us through that.
Well,
front
Palma,
four now.
Listen, we've watched Palma before in the past. Today, Celtic need him. He's got to come on and make an impact. I think Adam Ida will, because he's been playing quite a bit more.
Hatate, long ball forward, the header from Holt. Out to this near side for United. Little nutmeg by Fotheringham and Palma. He's been helped out there by Stevenson, but he's carried it out for a Celtic throw-in. Pulled quickly to Ida inside the box, shuffles onto the right and shoots low into the bottom left area. He's looking for that bottom left corner. It just goes wide. Got plenty behind that, and he's tried to disguise it. He's shaped as if he's going into the far corner. He's went for the near post, but it goes past. It's a goal kick, stays nothing each.
Yeah, that impact we're looking for.
Yeah,
right at the very start, it comes on and has a go at goal. The other change, of course, is Kyogo stays on the pitch. He's going to play in that number 10 kind of position, trying to feed off Adam Ida. So that's another change from the norm.
Yeah, it is, and it is essentially a front four now for Celtic as Welsh heads away from the edge of his box. Hatate hooks it over his head up towards halfway. Ida helps it on its way. Maida chases Ferry with an important touch back to Walton.
I think Hatate has been asked to play a little bit deeper than McGregor.
Here's a chance for United suddenly down the right. Strain, he's got the cross ball in as well, flicked away by Ralston and away by Hatate on the 18-yard line into the centre circle. Was Maida fouled? It doesn't matter because Kyogo's emerged with it and he's driving forward. Left-hand side, support from Palma to his left. Maida in the middle, but he can find Ida. Just skips away from Adam Ida, who had the freedom of Tannadice inside the box, and he'd been able to get onto it. United clear. Good period for Celtic since the changes this. Hatate, square ball for Taylor. Taylor then knocks it in towards Maida, but just gets away from him and behind for the goal kick. David Dickinson, the referee, took a touch there. Again, the Celtic fans are getting stuck into him, but he's not going to stop play because Celtic are in possession of the ball anyway.
It's essentially a 4-2-3 run now with McGregor and Hatate playing a little bit deeper. Kyogo off Ida, Palmer's on the left, and Maeda switched to the right hand side. But it could be just as easy a 4-4-1-1.
63 and a half on the clock. So still Celtic unable to make the breakthrough. Long ball United, Walton, Dalby flicks on. Thompson tries to find Fotheringham, he's dug it out, but illegally says the referee. And Celtic have a free kick. Celtic fans get a little bit frustrated and hear them. And the music to the ears of Jim Goodwin, that.
Yeah, it is, but the tempo's gone up a little bit now. You know, you can see the substitutions coming on. There's a bit of desperation and Celtic, but that intensity's just gone up a little bit. They've got to keep that intensity now for the next period to see can they get the goal. Dundee United just got to hang in, and concentration levels is going to be really, really strong.
You might remember Jim Goodwin's Aberdeen side a couple of years ago against Celtic. They were broken by a late Callum McGregor goal. It was all out defence that day. Perhaps not quite as bad as that today as Palma crosses in and headed away by Gallagher. Taylor controls as it nicked off him by Dalby. Does a good job defensively. United trying to just get through these 5-10 minutes and try and get the game back in an relatively even keel, because it is Celtic right now. It's tipping towards them.
It is. I mean, I do think they need to try and get it forward to Dalby a wee bit quicker, and I think Middleton, if he can go, get the ball out of the put. Thought that might have been a penalty.
Dyson Maeda, he's gone for it. Both players ended up going down. It's just outside the United box now. They've got a couple of players down, the home team. Jim Goodwin down there speaking with Lee Sharp, his assistant. He's trying to work out a way of trying to stymie this current momentum that Celtic have in the game, even though it remains 0-0.
Just got to try to get his midfield sorted out a little bit. Do they sit with the two and kill off the space for Kyogo? They obviously have to deal with the wide players. Palma on the left, Maeda on the right. But that was going okay in the game, so they can continue doing that. But it's just the midfield area is a little bit open now.
Yeah, the one thing you've got to do is have somebody in and around Kyogo. I mean, the wider players, fair enough, they may do some damage, but you must have Kyogo picked up.
Long ball from the United, free kick from Walton. Again, it carries in the wind and it just goes miles away from Dalby and behind for a goal kick to Celtic. United, they haven't been able to make the ball stick. Packy, I mentioned that game at Pittodrie. It was just about exactly 2 years ago. How does this Dundee United performance compare to what Aberdeen did that day?
Yeah, well, listen, it's all about trying to stay in the game for as long as you can, and if you get a chance, there'll be always one chance you'll get. Can you then maybe take it? But you've got to stay in the game, and especially when Celtic up the ante and get the tempo up, then it's all about just people making good decisions, getting into positions, making sure that they don't step away, and there again, Celtic opening up the space, getting in between the lines.
Hatate to McGregor, out to the left for Taylor. Now Palma, he's done well, beats Strain, decides to try and beat him again. He's at the angle of the box, goes at the edge for Hatate, takes a touch, he shoots, and it's blocked by Gallagher's head, and it will spin out on the far side for a throw-in right down by the corner flag between the George Fox and Shed over on the far side.
Yeah, you can actually see it's the Dundee United number 5 Sevils. It's just basically been asked to pick up Kyogo and almost follow him, unless he goes too high, then the centre-backs deal with him. But what you don't want is one of the centre-backs coming out and picking up, so he's got his eye on him all the time.
Heading towards the final quarter of the game. Dundee United 0, Celtic 0. Hearts St Johnstone to come. 3 o'clock kick-off at Tynecastle. You get the 1872 Cup clash between the Glasgow Warriors and Edinburgh at Hampden on Radio Scotland this afternoon as well. There will be a split round about 2:30. Get post-match reaction from here. The football will continue as well, of course, as I said, that massive match at the bottom of the table. Hearts St Johnstone to come here at Tannadice. The early kick-off, it's goalless. And so far so good for Dundee United. Been saying that for a while in the game. They've got to the 68 minute mark and their goal hasn't been breached, and Jim Goodwin will be delighted with that, particularly given they conceded 4 last week. at Fir Park as Middleton tries desperately to keep it in play. He's done so, and he fires it back towards the edge of the Celtic 18-yard line, where it's met by Hatate, who finds Taylor. Taylor has it out to this near side for Palma, stabbed away by Strain and then helped out by Fotheringham, and it goes out for a Celtic throw-in down on this near side.
Just thinking, Liam, with the really good stat you gave us about the late goals, with 10-15 minutes to go, does Jim Goodwin change something to become a bit more positive to try and get a winner?
Yeah, you do wonder, will one of these sides win this game? Will neither of them win it? Celtic have only dropped points in one league match this season in the 15 before today. They've won all the others. They've found ways to win the others, sometimes spectacularly, sometimes not so much. Here is Taylor on the 18-yard line of United to Hatate. Fires it back to McGregor. Low ball with the left foot in towards Taylor, just inside the United box, but battered away by Seville. There'll be another thing for Jim Goodwin, is he'll be loath to make changes because the 11 he's got out there are doing their jobs. Ralston finds Maida. Back to Tony Ralston.
Sorry, it's just when they get maybe a little bit tired, near the end, leggy, and then you can see maybe the spaces opening up. That's when maybe he's got to make the change.
We'll look at the benches in a moment. It's Palma for Celtic, gets it back to McGregor, shuffles onto his left, trying to get onto the right. Seville's with the challenge again, not for the first time this afternoon. He's been excellent, the Croatian, for United. Here is Hatate to Palma. Palma finds Ralston. And infield to McGregor, back to Ralston, little run from Maida. He's playing on the right-hand side to accommodate Palma on the left. It's back with Scales, now Taylor, infield for Hatate. Hatate looking for Maida, cut out though by Will Ferry. There are 20 minutes left, 0-0. Taylor midway inside the United half, square ball for Hatate, side foot forward to Maida, low back to Hatate. He's got Ralston to his right. That's where it goes, infield to McGregor, back to Ralston, then back to Welsh. Again, everyone bar Kasper Schmeichel is in the United half here. It's very busy. Kyogo back to Welsh, forward to McGregor, square to Taylor. Taylor then to Palma, level the D of the United box, forced back the way by a combination of Strain and Fotheringham. To Scales, forward to McGregor, back to Scales, out to Taylor. Exclusive possession of the football for Celtic this. Welsh forward to Hatate, gets it through to Ida, couldn't quite make it settle, but he's still on it, outside the box. Lays it back to Taylor. Side football, square to Welsh, forward to Kyogo, the little dummy is read by Seville, who gets in the way, and now it's Sam Dolby for Dundee United, round about the edge of the centre circle, gets it out to Kai Fotheringham. Now he can have a go at Taylor as the wind whips up again here in the city of Discovery. It is Fotheringham, the ball across, takes a touch, but it's going to break Dolby's way, right of the 6-yard box, trying to pull it back to Middleton, who gets the shot away, but Schmeichel holds on. It was Kyogo who found himself on the ball round about the penalty spot. Middleton, it was a 50-50, Middleton managed to slide and swing a boot at it, but Schmeichel holds on and it stays nothing each. But that's another warning for the champions.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I wouldn't call it a great chance, but Middleton's done really, really well to get something on it. In fact, I think he's just get cramped. I think he's struggling to get up just now.
Here comes Celtic up the other end. Ralston's ball in. Oh, knocked back to his goalkeeper by Strain, and it come bouncing off his chest. Difficult for us to tell. He's got his back to where we are. And the referee's happy with it as it was chested back to Walton. And I think they're going to have to make a change here. Our Dundee United, Martin Dowd and Glenn Middleton. He was struggling a little bit earlier on, and I think maybe that's the final straw for him today.
I don't think they want to take Middleton off. I think, I don't think they want to take Middleton off. I think it's somebody else. It might have been Miller Thompson coming off, but they might change that now, Packy. I don't know.
Well, let's Martin can tell us who's coming on at least.
Yeah, frankly, I heard enough from me in the journey up. So if you could give me a little minute over here, Jorts van der Sande looks as though he's coming up. He's been warming up for the last few minutes. I do let you wonder if Glenn Middleton's really struggling over there. It might be a change Jim Goodwin wasn't keen to make. And I also, like you, Liam, wondered if he would make one at all, given that they're hanging in there and keeping this going, but it looks as though he's going to have to.
Well, I think Van der Sande was brought here to be the main man up front. Sam Dolby's left him in his shadow, though. In recent times, Dolby's 8 goals, 4 better than the next best. But United, Trapanovsky and Molt have both got 4. Jim Goodwin forced into the alteration, perhaps. We're just waiting to see if Middleton will be okay to either continue or walk off. We'll wait and see. He's being helped off the pitch here by the medics. He is walking, so the change, we'll see Middleton stay on, as Ian was saying, and on comes Van der Sande. He's going to replace Miller-Thompson. So he's yet to score for Dundee United, Van der Sande. Ian, this would be quite the afternoon to break his duck.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, firstly, I got the substitution right, so I don't think we need to go to Martin again. Yeah, but listen, this is it. You're saying they scored a lot of goals in the last 15 minutes. Well, that's them to 2 strikers on the pitch now.
Yeah, and we're not far off the last 15 minutes. As I mentioned, goals in the final 15 minutes of league games this season have been worth an extra 12 points for Dundee United this term, as Middleton waits to come back on down below us. However, talking about United's penchant for a late goal, we all know late goals are woven into the history of Celtic Football Club, Packy.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it so many times. But today, I'm not sure if I can remember the goalkeeper making any big saves today. Jack Walton.
A lot close shaves for Celtic have been wide, haven't they, from efforts outside the box. Ralston has it over on the far side. Square ball infield to Scales, then low out to Taylor, the near side, long from Greg Taylor, looking for Palma. The header won there by Strain. Out for a throw for Celtic on this near side. A few teams in this league are having excellent seasons. Obviously Celtic better than everyone else, but when you look at Motherwell, Dundee United, St Mirren have found some form. Again, obviously Aberdeen have tailed off after a spectacular start, similar to what happened to them in 2015, actually, when they won their first 8 league games. Here's Palma down the left for Celtic, level with the Dundee United 6-yard line, taking on Strain, rolling it back to Taylor, level with the edge of the D of the United box. Square ball for Welsh. I think Celtic are going to look to their bench as well in just a moment. Here is Hatate. Hatate out to Palma. And he's level with the edge of the D on the left, finds Hatate. Hatate square ball for Taylor, to slide in to nick in ahead of Van der Sande. He's done well to retain the ball for Celtic. Hatate finds Palma. Palma's level with the 6-yard line here, and it's stabbed away from him. Celtic get it back, recycling it. Welsh to McGregor, to Taylor, to Scales, to Callum McGregor. Less than 15 to go of the 90. Nothing each. Tannadice Park. And it is Welsh, square to Liam Scales. Low ball out to Palma, controls with the right undersole and rolls it back to Scales. Just to the edge of the centre circle for Welsh. And then McGregor. McGregor out to Daizen Maeda, who was the penalty hero last week at Hampden, having scored in normal time as well. There's Welsh finding Liam Scales. Scales has got Palma wide on the left. That's where this pass goes, and now he finds the underlapping Taylor. Dink ball into the box, diving header away by Gallagher. Only as far as Palma. Celtic have it back here. United are so deep. Here is Ralston bending a ball in with the right foot. Maeda's header, just over. Bolton got a touch on that as well. It's a good save. That was looping towards his goal. And Celtic have a corner as they attack the shed end. Another change for them, Martin Dowden.
Yeah, it will be Rio Hatate making way, and it's Paulo Bernardo making his way onto the pitch.
Bernardo's been good in recent weeks. Arne Engels is the most expensive signing in Celtic's history, can't get into the team. It is Bernardo on, he's waiting around about the 18-yard line as Palma prepares to take a right-footed, out-swinging corner from the far side. The Celtic right as they attack the goal to the left. Into the wind it comes, the 6-yard line, flicked away by Gallagher, stabbed towards goal by Bernardo and blocked and cleared. Celtic have a throw-in on this left-hand side this time.
Yeah, just going back to that save from Walton. It was that run we've come to be accustomed with from Maeda, in behind, lovely little ball, and just didn't get enough to get over the top of him. But it's probably the first save the goalkeepers had to make.
Yeah. There's Welsh forward to Bernardo, and then to Taylor. Taylor has it. Central left area, finds Scales at close quarter. Scales is well forward though. Now Bernardo to Scales. goes back the way, no way through right now. It is a tangerine and black brick wall that Celtic are trying to bust through here. And easier said than done. United defending brilliantly.
Yeah, just need a bit more movement from Celtic higher up the pitch. They're kind of waiting a little bit, waiting for the pass rather than making the movement, and then the pass will come.
Here's Welsh. Rolls it forward, the edge of box. Ida, what a touch! Kyogo's in! Not a great touch from him though. That allows Jack Walton to make the save. That was them. They've picked United open that time. Unfortunately for the home team, Kyogo's touch let him down after a wonderful one from Ida.
Huge chance. Great moving by Kyogo, great touch from Ida, but you know the finish just wasn't there.
Here they come again, Celtic. Maida, but it's gone behind for a goal kick. Down this left he went, but that was a real opportunity, Paki Bona. That was a wonderful chance for Kyogo.
Wonderful chance, and we talked about the movement. He got the movement that time. The pass came in behind, and you're just looking to see could he just lift it over the goalkeeper. That's what the goalkeeper goes to ground, and he miskicks it and doesn't get away with it, and the goalkeeper comes up with a big save again.
13,662 is the crowd inside Tannadice. Jim Goodwin looking to his bench.
Yeah, it will be Ross Docherty coming on and Christian Trapanovsky. Not quite sure who's coming off. I think it's Middleton who is making way this time off the park, and Lucas Stevenson as well.
A double change for United. Yeah, shots on target, Paki, for Celtic today, 1, and it'll be that Maida header there.
Yeah, the header and that chance from Kyogo, and that's probably not enough when you consider the amount of possession they've had, and possession and opposing half also. So the movement that we talked about, it have to get that right off the ball, then they can create chances. It's been a bit static today, I've got to say.
We have just hit the 80-minute mark at Tannadice, nothing each. Jack Walton's long ball from the goal kick eventually drops to Holt in the centre circle, killed in the chest by Trapanovsky over on the far side. Up the line he gets it, trying to get back onto it. Lovely touch, Trapanovsky. Now Van der Sande back to Trapanovsky, left hand side of the Celtic box. In comes the cross, it's too high for Dolby. And for Fotheringham, it was a poor ball. He'd done all the hard work down the left. Really good instant impact from Christian Trapanovsky. Just off the bench, it stays United 0, Celtic 0.
I thought it was a poor ball, but I think Fotheringham went into the middle of the goal too early. If he curses round the back, playing as a wide right player, he may have an opportunity to score a goal.
Welsh has it for Celtic, square to Ralston and all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. Now with Scales. Scales comes up to the halfway line, crosses it, rolls it out to the left for Taylor. Taylor exchanges passes with Palma. Greg Taylor back to Scales. A draw here would leave Celtic still 9 points clear at the top of the Premiership. The big switch comes to Palma on the left-hand side, taking on Ryan Strain, who's recovered from a poor start to the match. Taylor has it, plays it off Strain, behind for a Celtic corner.
I always wonder why Palma can't play over the right-hand side.
Why can he not cross the ball with his left foot?
But he can't play with his left foot, he always comes on the inside. But with Maeda still on the pitch at that point in time, he could play still on the left and over on the right-hand side, Palma.
Celtic corner here, and it comes from Bernardo. It's flicked towards goal and then cleared. I think Van der Sande or Dolby got onto it. It was Dolby. Back in by Ralston, long ball. Ida back to Palma, shoots. Oh, it was on target, but blocked by a really important header by Kevin Holt. Flag, I think, might have gone up in the far side anyway. It stays goalless.
Yeah, we had a great view of that one, Liam, right behind it. A great header by Big Holt, because it looks as if it's going in the faraway corner.
Yeah, I mean, we're right behind that. Yeah. From Palma, it was arching towards that far right corner of the net. Holt stuck his head in the way. United, it would be a really hard-earned point if they can take a draw out of this one. They may well even think they could go on and win it. Long ball forward. Van der Sande trying to flick on. Breaks to Trapanovsky, can't keep it in play out that far side. It's out for a throw-in. Maida will leave it. And it's bowled back by Ralston. Infield to Welsh. Celtic trying to keep the winning run going here. But they're running out of time to do so. But here's Palma getting it from Scales, wide on the left, knocks it in field. It's straight to Doherty, who's got the armband on.
That was a poor ball from Palma there. That was a great ball from Scales. Played it right in front of him to run onto, and then he had all the time in the world to pick his pass. That was a poor pass.
Yeah, Palma finds Bernardo, whips the ball across, comes off a United head and behind for a corner. My goodness, what happened there?
I think he must have slipped and then decided to head the ball, because if not, he'd just declared it with his foot, I think.
Well, it's Seveld. He stooped so low, he's almost lying on the pitch when he headed it. It seemed to go under his body and behind for the corner, which will be taken by Paulo Bernardo wide on that right-hand side. Just over 6 minutes of the 90 left, 0-0. The champions being held here. In comes the corner, flicked away by Gallagher. Breaks to Palma at the edge of the box. Not a good touch. Van der Sande can get it away, but Ralston gets it alive again for Celtic. Out wide to Bernardo. His first cross is poor. Comes back to him. Rolls it to Taylor. Back to Bernardo. Celtic trying to pick their way through. It's blocked. Comes back to McGregor, and his effort ends up in the shed over the bar. It's taken a deflection. Celtic have another corner. It stays United 0, Celtic 0 for now.
That final thrust from Celtic now in the last sort of almost 6-7 minutes, and you can feel the fans and everybody getting behind them. So can they pull it out of the bag?
Outswinging corner from Bernardo coming up here for Celtic again, over on the right, and it comes, and then a fresh air swipe from Ida, and it goes through him and breaks to Palma on this near side. Looks to switch it back out to Bernardo, and he's done so well. Bernardo gets the cross in. Sevels turns it behind for another Celtic corner. It is relentless right now.
He just went with his wrong foot to clear it. There goes his left foot, it goes up the pitch.
Another chance for Bernardo then. This is his third in recent times from that far side. Again, a big group of players round about the penalty spot. Bernardo looking for someone in green and white. In it comes. It's flicked away by Seveld, importantly. And out for a Celtic throw-in on this main stand side this time. Level with the United 18. And another change for Celtic, Martin.
Another change indeed. Brendan Rodgers throwing everything at us to get this late winner. It will be Daisen Maeda making way, and the man you mentioned, Arne Engels, coming on.
Yeah, I think Kyogo might go out on the right-hand side a little bit. He'll play on the inside right channel, and Engels will play in that midfield area.
Well, not everyone has the luxury of bringing on an £11 million player when your need is urgent. Celtic do so with the young Belgian coming on, as Welsh slips it out to Kyogo on the far side, back down the line to Ralston. How Jim Goodwin would like to be able to bring on an £11 million player right now.
And a £9 million Adam Ida.
That's his budget. Yeah. Your Scales finds Taylor out to the left for Palma, level with the United penalty spot. Shows too much of it to strain. He's not the Celtic fans' favourite right now, because every poor touch from Lewis Palma has been absolutely berated by the Celtic supporters around about us.
I think they just want to see him, I don't know, Packy, being a wee bit more positive.
Listen, I've said it so many times when I watch him play, you've got to be able to go to the outside and on the inside. You can't keep coming on the inside all the time. That particular situation, right straight read it so easily, and don't take the ball, and then he gives away the free kick. So you come on the pitch, you've got to make a real impact. I know he had a shot, but that's about all I've seen from him so far. And listen, you know, that's why he's not in the team, I'm afraid.
Just about the final 3 minutes of the 90. No goals. Here is Seveld. Now Doherty flicks it on to Van der Sande. It's not a great touch though. McGregor wins it back. Now it's with Scales. Scales gets it with the left foot and fires it to Engels, right of the centre circle. It's a long ball forward. Kyogo's not going to get there. The wind helped it towards Kevin Holt, really, who gets it back from Ferry on the far side, and Holt batters it as far away as he can get it, and he's got it all the way through to the Celtic goalkeeper.
I think it's fair to say Ryan Strain has had a terrific second half. As poor as he was in the first half, he's really good in the second half.
Yeah, he's reacted well.
He really has.
It is Ralston getting it from Welsh, and then Welsh finds Scales. Scales low ball out to Taylor. Are Celtic about to spill points for just the second time this season? It's out to Palma on this near side. He gets it through to Taylor. He's inside the area. He plays it off Gallagher, and behind for a corner. Might have come off Fotheringham last. Either way, it's a Celtic corner on this near side. Right now, there's only 4 seasons in Celtic's history that match the start they've made to this campaign. Brendan Rodgers' first term, 3 out of Martin O'Neill's 4 at the turn of the century. Corner Celtic, this time on this near side, in swinger from Engels, flicked across the box, Welsh heads it back towards the goal and then knocked away by United, and then up into the air it goes from Strain. Celtic come again, but United get on the edge of the area, sucked onto the chest of Trapanovsky, who hooks it clear. Getting to the point now where Dundee United are so close to taking something from this match, and when you come up against Celtic, given the budget disparity, you take a draw every single day of the week. You'd love to win the game, obviously, and if you get a chance to win the game, you'll try it, as Trapanovsky's yellow carded for a foul on Ralston over on the far side. But they'd absolutely have signed up for a draw before kick-off, given the relentless nature of Celtic just now. Martin Dowden, United's final change.
Yes, it will be Richard O'Dada coming onto the pitch, and Sam Galby would make way. I wonder if Jim Good was just trying to take the sting out of this in these closing stages, given how Celtic are surging forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think he thought about being really positive with the two strikers on the pitch, but Celtic have just pushed them back in the second half. I mean, Dundee United have 1 or 2 moments. O'Dada's come on, he came on against Kilmarnock, and he was the guy that gave away the penalty. So, I mean, I think it'd be harsh on Dundee United to lose this football match now. I'm not saying Celtic wouldn't deserve it, but it'd be pretty harsh with the effort that Dundee United players have put in.
We're well into the 90th minute, nothing each. We'll find out what the stoppage time is going to be shortly. Your Scales for Celtic, midway inside the United half. Again, Dundee United with everyone behind the ball. McGregor, square to Scales. Scales then shifts it out left-hand side of the box for Palma. He's got the early ball in, this time too high for Ida though, and swept away by Ferry. Celtic come again, here's Scales. 6 minutes are being added on at the end here. 6 minutes. Sure, that's going to go down well with Dundee United. There's not really been any VAR interventions, just the substitutions. It is 6 minutes though. We're into the first of them. Scales out to Palma, bends the ball in, and it's headed away by Gallagher. Hangs in the wind, killed on the chest by McGregor. Slips it to Taylor. Now it's Palma. Now it's Taylor who pulls it back. Engels for goal, and it's blocked by Walton. And out for a throw into Celtic on this near side. Taylor racing out to take it quickly.
That was a big moment. Good save from the goalkeeper, low down, could easily slip through the legs, got his legs behind it and kept it out.
I'm not sure he knew much about it, but yeah, really good save by Jack Walton to keep out Engels. It was looking like the winning goal there. Here's Scales for Celtic as they come again. 1 of the 6 minutes has just about elapsed. Here is McGregor out to Kyogo on the far side. Ralston behind him, he elects to go back to McGregor. Infield to Bernardo, now it's Kyogo, good play, Kyogo shoots, it's wide! It's wide from 18 yards. And it will be a goal kick to United. Celtic finishing with a flourish here, but they've not had that final touch necessary to turn 1 point into 3 as yet, and they are running out of time. Nothing each.
All those shots from outside the box have never hit the target today. That was a big sort of kind of almost situation again. You know, Kyogo running across, almost across the edge of the 18-yard box, just couldn't get his foot wrapped around it, and well wide of the post.
Ross Docherty's just run over to have a word with his manager there to try and see this out, and perhaps something even more spectacular, because United are up the pitch here and it's Fotheringham out wide right for Strain, up against Palma. Back to Docherty, clip ball, looking for Strain, can he get onto it? He has done, he's got a little touch to take it to the byline, he's come off Taylor last, and Dundee United have a corner. 2 minutes of the 6 of stoppage time have been played. And can they turn 1 point into 3 now all of a sudden?
Well, Jim Goodwin's now delighted there's 6 minutes extra time because he's got a corner, but yeah, I mean, it gives him an opportunity to throw something into the box.
Celtic haven't lost a league game since March. 24 games played since then. They've won 22 of them, drawn 2. Rangers and Aberdeen have taken a point off them. That's it, Celtic have won all the others. Dundee United could really upset the apple cart here. Will Ferry's corner, left-footed, bending in towards the Celtic goal and headed over his own bar by Adam Ida. United fans believe they can win this.
Yeah, it was a good header, wasn't it? You know, because he was struggling, because the one that just caught it and just whipped it in on top of him, and Schmeichel was kind of half struggling to get to it also. So there was a good header, but a good corner. Get it into that 6-yard box, anything can happen.
It's a congested 6-yard box as well, as Ferry gets his second chance right in front of the Tannadice tunnel. Jim Goodwin checking his watch. 3 minutes of stoppages left. Ferry with the corner, and it comes, almost dropped to Odada, flicked away by Bernardo, back in by Doherty. A couple of players take a tumble, there's no whistle, United play on. Schmeichel, and he's been a mess of it, and eventually the flag goes up down below us, and the whistle goes as well. And it looked as though Schmeichel might be punished there as he misjudged it. There were so many bodies in the way. It stays Dundee United 0, Celtic 0 after all that.
Yeah, I think it was just offside, but of course there was a real ruckus in the 6-yard box.
Poor ball by Palma, not a great touch, and United have it back with Ryan Strain. They're just over 2 minutes away from a point, but all of a sudden that's gone out of play. It'll be a Celtic throw. It's poor from Strain on that occasion. Celtic have a throw in, and it's bowled back by Taylor to Scales. 2 minutes left. Nothing each. Welsh out to the left for Taylor. Taylor then out to Palma, who rolls it back to Greg Taylor. Back to Scales. And then left to right of the circle for Welsh. Side football to Taylor. Forward to Bernardo. Out wide left for Palma. Back to Taylor. Taylor forward to Engels. To Taylor. Side football to Welsh, midway inside the United half. It is the closing seconds of the match and just over a minute to go. Celtic desperately trying to find the winning goal here. It's out left for Engels. Back to the left angle of the box for Palma. Forward it comes to Taylor, and a brilliant challenge by Doherty. Magnificent from the returning skipper. His first action since October as he chases it into the Celtic half. Welsh gets it back to his goalkeeper. It looked like he pulled up a little bit there. Welsh, he's clutching his left leg, trying to stretch it out. There's 1 minute left. Long ball from Ralston. Strain with a header, and then the header from Fotheringham out for a Celtic throw-in on this near side. 0-0, but it's been an action-packed game. Celtic trying to find a way through. United, they've been trying all afternoon to no success. Bernardo's cross, away by Gallagher. Scales wins the header. Odada then heads it up towards halfway. And then all the way back to Kasper Schmeichel. 30 seconds to go. Schmeichel's ball finds Scales. There'll be no time added on top of this. Scales out wide left, Palma. Again, he thought about chopping in on the right. He gets the left foot cross coming in towards Kyogo. It's flicked away crucially by Ferry. Kyogo's waiting to pull the trigger with the volley. Kyogo has it on the far side. Infield to Engels. Cut out again, and Trapanovsky batters it clear. And the referee blows for full time. Celtic have dropped points for just the second time this season. Brendan Rodgers' first ever game against Dundee United ends in 2 points dropped as he and Jim Goodwin exchange pleasantries down below us. They upped the ante as the game wore on there. Arne Engels and Dyson Maida tested Walton, but those were the only shots on target for Celtic. They had a series of efforts from outside the box. Luke McCowan with a couple, McGregor with a couple, Kyogo with one in the first half, but they just couldn't find a way through Dundee United or past Jack Walton. It is the most hard-earned of points for the Tangerine and Black half of the City of Discovery, and they'll feel, given their performance, their defensive performance, that this is a point well earned for them as they start the festive fixtures with a positive draw. It always is against Celtic, who will be bitterly disappointed. And it means the gap at the top, with the top two now having played the same games, is 9 points. It's still plenty daylight, not completely insurmountable, of course. But it is just the second time Celtic have not won a league game this season. It finished here at Tannadice. Dundee United 0, Celtic 0.
The Scottish Premiership.